Yeah, bro. Yeah, mate. Since I've been doing the like going back into yoga, I did a gym session yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was literally all I wanted to do was like move around.
Yeah.
Especially doing those lat stretches.
Yeah, the side stretches.
Oh my word! I suddenly feel like my posture, everything.
Yeah.
I was hanging off the rings, and I was just letting my body flow.
Right.
I haven't done that in so long.
Yeah.
I used to love doing that, but
Yeah.
since going to your session, and really, we did a few of those where we
Side
really.
body stretches.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
I feel so stupid. I'm like, why did I stop doing this
Yeah,
for so
yeah,
long?
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
this.
Yeah. I mean, when we do the gym, like
Yeah.
we have to do stretching as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be yoga, you know.
Yeah.
It can be like other stretching, but yoga is such a good way to do it in, because it's not only stretching practice. You know, you're calming your mind. You know, you're not on your phone between the reps.
Yeah.
You're not somewhere else when you're practicing, and that's for me also like a good way to do it.
How did you find it initially? How did you find yoga?
Like, you know, I played football my whole life,
Yeah.
and my career ended. I got injured in my foot. I was a little bit lost, you know, what should I do? Should I try to find a financial career where I can, you know, because you listen to everyone and you see what's up, you know. And then my sister got me into yoga, you know, because I was doing gym and everything. And I was trying it out just in the beginning, just like, that's just for you, like you're stretching, it feels so good.
Yeah.
And then more and more I was starting to do it. And I went to this teacher training and started doing the teacher training. And then with the philosophy and the mindset and the way of living,
Yeah.
got completely hooked up of it.
Mate, that's
Yeah.
sick.
And then it's just continue.
Yeah. So how long have you? So you had a fantastic career in football, really, didn't you? You were
Not fantastic.
good,
I made
man.
it professional.
You made it professional.
I made it professional.
Mate, that's every boy's dream.
Yeah.
That's every boy's dream
It
to be a
is.
professional
It is.
football player.
Yeah.
And you did it.
Yeah. I made it there. I mean,
It's amazing.
yeah. I'm happy. I lived that life.
Yeah.
And now I can also try something else. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it's been just quick. I've been teaching almost every day now for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And practicing.
Do you find that discipline that you had to obviously get where you did with football, do you find there's parallels? Do you find it's like two different worlds? Or do you find there's a lot of things that you learn from just you as yourself, the discipline, the dedication to a sport, to a physical sport? Does it go hand in hand?
Yeah, for sure it goes hand in hand. When we're talking about how much you want to practice yoga, how dedicated you are for it, because I'm really dedicated for it.
Yeah.
And I've not been practicing for years. I've been practicing only for months. But obviously the mindset you have in football and the mindset you have in yoga is like two completely different mindsets. You know, in football it's all about striving to become something in the future.
Yeah.
You know, you always have to win.
Yeah.
When you lose, you have to come back to the winning, and when you win, you can't be too happy because you want to win the next game.
Yeah.
So you're always striving towards something in the future, you know?
Yeah.
And that is the mentality of a professional football player.
Yeah.
You know, that's how Cristiano Ronaldo thinks, that you can't be happy, you know? So that's very interesting. And in yoga, it's literally the opposite.
Okay.
You're just accepting where you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't work for anything in the future.
Yeah.
It's more about you're accepting where you are and you're happy now.
Yes.
But you do things now that will benefit you in the future.
Yes.
So that's a big difference there. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, man. No, I've never thought about it like that. That's really cool. And I read this thing the other day, and it said, if you say I will be, that is, you are saying that you are currently not. So
Right.
if you say, I will be this, I will do this, or I will win, then you're currently saying, so that must be an interesting state of mind to be in constantly, of even if you've won, to not feel like sit in that and feel that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And it is, as I said, it's just two different ways of life.
Yeah.
Like being a professional, it can be in any field. Like if you want to be a successful businessman or doctor, or I don't know, whatever. It's just two different parts of the life.
Yeah.
Two different parts, a path, and nothing is wrong and nothing is right.
Yeah.
It's just what you want to do with your life, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just that. Or maybe you can do both. I was a professional football player, and now I'm a yogi. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have a plan for the, like, 5 years time I'm going to be doing this, or are you very much in, hey, like how are you living? How are you making your decisions day to day if you don't have? Well, I'm interested.
Yeah. So it's not about not thinking about the future.
Yeah.
It's about not attaching your happiness to the future.
Okay.
You know. So when I was a football player, I was like, okay, when I win this, then I'm gonna be happy. You know. Once I get this contract, then I'll be happy. You know.
Yeah.
And it fades away this quick once you get it.
Yeah.
So in the yogi mindset, it's more about, okay, I'm going to work for something in the future.
Yeah.
I'm working for it now, and I enjoy working now. I know also it will benefit me in the future.
Okay.
You know, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset I have. So of course I want to teach yoga, and not only like the physical, not only the asanas, the physical practice that we did the other day, but more about the philosophy. You know, teach people about the mindset.
Yeah.
And the way of thinking.
What benefits? Obviously, like you said, it's had huge benefits in your life. But what do you see? You know, through teaching this, what do you see? What effect do you see that having?
So many people come to yoga not only for the physical thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So they come to yoga because they have some traumas.
Yeah.
You know, they have mental problems, something like that. So they come to calm their mind, to release any tension inside their body. You know, that's what we're doing, all these stretches. We're opening up. I have some people, they cry after yoga session, you know, because we're opening up muscles that store emotions.
Yeah,
so when these emotions are released, people started crying, especially women in the hips.
Yeah.
And so some people start crying after yoga.
Yeah.
You know, and that's also one step towards where I want to. That's why I'm more interested in the meditation, like breath work and all that, and because it has such an impact on people.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing here.
Did you find any of that for yourself? Because obviously, usually we are our own first student. We teach ourselves first. So, from that experience, from what you just said, did you have any experiences like that?
No, I didn't have. I just came into it because I think I'm very open-minded.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's try something in Thailand, do a teacher training, let's see.
Yeah.
So I was not in like a bad state when I came to yoga. I was super happy, you know. Everything I did, you know, I wake up early, go to gym, work, you know, all that. I was doing that for 1-2 years now.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, because I was missing out on some things, you know. My friends were going crazy holidays, they were doing parties, and I did my thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, is this the right decision or not?
Okay.
You know, because sometimes you think, am I missing out? You know, on the things your friends do.
Yes.
But then I came to yoga and it's like, no, it just confirmed everything I was doing.
Yeah.
It just gave me more spark, more fire to continue the journey I was on already.
Mate, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's funny, isn't it? You find those little, because I do believe whenever you're moving towards a goal or a bigger picture, you have to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
Those parties, those nights out with your friends, they probably would have been fun.
For sure.
And I definitely had loads of nights out, and I went deep into that for a while and then kind of went the other way. But you have to sacrifice something to get something. You can't just have everything. You can't, be partying all the time and drinking and smoking and whatever it is, and then expect, like you said, to have this other side of things as well.
No.
But what's interesting is I find that when you do head in that direction and you know it's the right direction to head in, that's whatever that is inside you going, no, stay away from that, go this way. Initially, it is hard. You have all of those distractions, but then there's little things along the way, like you said, that are kind of little nods that let you know, right, you are on the right path. Have you had any of those, or what were those moments where it was like that little nod that, yep, you made the right decision?
Yeah, there come these moments, or each and every time, when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually doing the right thing. Okay, I'm on this right path. And I think the more you do it, the more you understand that it's the right path.
Uh-huh.
So in the beginning, you're like, okay, I'm missing out on some things. Is it right or wrong?
Yeah.
How does it feel to miss out of these things? And I think it's maybe similar to like stop drinking. If you're drinking,
yes,
the first month or first weeks, they're hard. But once you don't drink anymore, you just start to enjoy not drinking, right?
Yeah.
It's similar.
Yeah.
So the more you do the right things, it's just like an upward spiral,
Yeah.
Every little thing is like waking up in the morning, you start with meditation, then it's got easier to do the cold bath.
Yeah.
It's easier to do to read. and to practice, it's just like a upward spiral that's just this fuel up. Yeah.
I've got two questions. So, first of all, the kind of like the non-drinking.
Yeah.
Like, how did you sort of fall upon that, and what do you think the benefits are? And then afterwards, I want to ask you a question about meditation as a habit, but I'll come back to that. But so first of all, like, that journey of non-drinking, because our culture, I mean, British culture particularly, what did you say to me the other day? How do you view Brits for...
What?
You said, I'm sure you said something the other day.
Oh, the Brit. Yeah. No, I don't remember.
You don't remember,
I'm sure I know the Brits are drinking a lot.
But the rest of Europe knows us as very heavy drinkers, and the Irish as well, which I don't know if is the best reputation to have. But when it's part of your culture, it's part of making friends, it's part of relationships, how you meet someone, how you go on a date. Do you think you can exist in, because obviously it's I don't drink, you don't drink, but we've taken ourselves into a completely different culture that's more aligned with that. Thing. Do you think you can exist in that culture? I'm interested on your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a good question. As you said, if you don't want to drink, take yourself to the place where you belong, like where you find the like-minded people. Yeah. I think it's more difficult if you're in that culture.
Yeah.
But it's also about being honest with the people and being honest with yourself, and then they just have to accept.
Yeah.
They just have to accept it, and some people are like more worried that you're not enjoying than yourself are when you're not drinking. They're like, oh mate, Kevin, you should have something you're not enjoying. And I'm like, mate, I'm enjoying so much. I don't even need anything, to enjoy.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of that mindset. Just stop drinking.
Yeah.
And then you have your friends. Like if they're your true friends, they will know and they will accept it.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with that.
Of course, but obviously if they're doing that as a habit and that's where mainly you spend time with them, then naturally they're going to not become your friends. If they're always at the pub and then you want to spend time wherever it is you want to spend time, naturally you're going to separate.
It is true. It is a little bit, some of that is true, but I think also you can go to the pub and spend time with them, but not drinking. They know you're not drinking, and it's fine, That's just what, in my opinion, is the best way to do it, because I don't think it's an excuse to drink.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it is an excuse, but it's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question, definitely. But I would say just stand up for yourself. Do what you want.
Yeah.
And then people have to accept it.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah.
And I have this thought about not drinking. So for me, the best part about drinking was that first or second beer, whatever it was, where everyone's together, everyone's still quite sober, but you're laughing, you're having banter, you're making fun of each other, you're making memories. After that, I'm pretty sure that everyone else drinking is also not having fun. Like when you go to a night out and you're sober and you see everyone after 3 or 4 drinks, you're looking at them, they're blurting out all of their emotional problems and they're using it as a release, and they're going off and doing something they shouldn't with someone they've just met or whatever it is. And I'm thinking, this isn't good behavior. But because you're drunk, you can't see it. But when you kind of exist on those nights out and you can just observe it all, I do think after that first couple of drinks, people's unhappiness comes out in a way. Yeah. And what I try and think of is that feeling when perhaps, you're using alcohol as a social lubricant and you're having those jokes. Why can't you exist in that all the time? Like, what is that feeling? Why can't you just do that all the time? And I think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I think you can.
Yeah.
Me and my best friends were having the best time just sitting in a sofa watching football, having love all the time. That's the best time. I don't think you need alcohol to have fun or anything like that. And also, whenever you're adding something external to your life that will give you like a rush or something really positive, it often also has something negative behind it. And that's alcohol, You're just having this, people say, okay, I need to drink to relax myself. Yeah. And what it does, it makes you more stressed the day after. So your stress level is higher than it is before. So you need to drink to get right. And then it's just like a downward spiral again, So I think that's important to keep in mind. Like there's always one positive thing, and many times it's also
Negatives.
negative. If it's come from external, if it's from inside,
Yeah.
it's from inside.
I love that, man. I think even if it's not as part of your who you want to be, you do want to include alcohol. If you're trying to achieve something, giving up drinking is like a superpower. If you want to achieve anything, just give up drinking. The way I kind of view it is like a graph. If you give up drinking, it's just constant momentum in that direction, up. And then that gets, everything you're learning throughout the day, you wake up and you're still thinking about the lessons from yesterday, whatever it was, and you're just up. If you put alcohol in, yeah, you have that spike, but then, okay, you're down here. And then if you keep doing that, that person who's not been drinking has just steadily walked up the mountain, whatever it was, and you've been fighting down here, you've had all these ups and downs, you've attracted all of this turmoil into your life because you made some stupid decisions while you were drinking. If you want to achieve anything, just stop drinking. And it's so easy to achieve that thing that you want to achieve.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It is just a distraction that we're fooling ourselves that is some kind of pleasure.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it is not, because it always has one bright and one bad side, right? And I think the most important thing I learned from yoga, it is that life itself, waking up every day, go to the gym, getting sunlight, only that is enough. That is enough. You don't need alcohol. It's like you're having a dessert, and only life itself is this dessert. And then everything external, all the social pressure also, and the alcohol, like all of that things, is just the second dessert. You don't need it. Life itself.
Second dessert.
You don't need it.
Okay.
Life itself is just so beautiful. You don't need anything else.
Yeah.
So that's why it's no need to add anything, and no alcohol. You don't need it.
How do you practice that? How do you practice life as your dessert?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
How do you get better?
Yeah, it is about doing the things that will make you happy from the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like appreciating all the small things, appreciating like just waking up. Imagine we're living 100 years in this universe, and we've got the privilege to do that. Honestly, that's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you think about it, if you take a step back and zoom out, right? We have our friends and family. It's not even a certainty they are alive, right?
Yeah.
One day they will be gone, And taking a step back, zoom out, and just appreciate every day, like waking up in the morning, doing your thing in the morning. That is enough. That's life itself, right?
Yeah.
It's not about attaching to all these external things that you think that will make you happy, because in the end, it won't. Everything will come from the inside, and that's something that I think is the most important thing that I've learned.
I love that, man. So it's finding those little moments throughout the day, and like you said, you're fully right. If you even spend an afternoon thinking about the vastness of the universe and what's going on, and we're just this little speck who's got these problems, we're worried that this so-and-so didn't message us back, and there's this vast universe that's expanding, and all these galaxies, and the perspective of it is, but we are a human, and there is something beautiful about our experience, and I do think that we have to go. I'm still trying to every day is remind myself to find those magic little moments everywhere. And those are the days I feel the best. And the days that I feel stressed, I know it's when I'm chasing something. That's when I've particularly noticed that recently. The days that I feel stressed is because I'm chasing something. I'm wishing something was different in my life at this present moment. And then I'm become unhappy.
Yeah.
And then I try and remind myself in those moments, all right, come on, what are you happy about? You've got so much to be happy for. And then just counting 3 things that, this is, oh, come on, amazing. And then that thing that you needed or you thought you wanted in your life, it either just comes in naturally or you didn't need it anyway, Or
you can work towards it and enjoy the journey towards it. And you appreciate okay, I'm actually doing something now that is purposeful, sharing thoughts with others, helping other people, or whatever you're doing. In fact, whatever you're doing something purposeful now, and it will benefit you in the future, but you're enjoying the journey rather than the fruits of the work. Right?
Yes, because like you said, once you have those fruits,
you know, you're already on the journey way there. You already imagined higher goals.
Yeah.
You know, you already imagine higher goals on the journey there.
Yeah.
So the goal, once you reach it, it's not that beautiful anymore. Either way, right?
Yeah. I do think it's important to set, like, because a lot of meditation, I don't know what you teach with your meditations, but I think this idea of putting ourselves into the future, understanding what we would like to see in our life, having that a huge vision, right? What do I want my life to look like? You know, which is kind of authentically, not what do others want for me, what do I want for me? Put myself in the future. How does that person feel? How does that person feel? Really contemplate that. They feel at peace, they feel at ease. Okay, right, I'm feeling these emotions right now. Can I bring that into now and then just exist like that? And then I do believe that future just sort of happens in a,
Right. yeah. Exactly what you're saying is like, when you think about something in the future, like in a state that you want to be, more than what you want to have.
Yes.
Right. What you want to do and how you want to feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's closer than you think.
Yes.
Like it is actually here, accessible to everyone right now.
Yeah.
As you're saying.
Yeah.
It is nothing that you're chasing in the future, because if you have the mindset you're going to chase and going to be happy then, I'm going to be happy when I got this or when I'm there, then you'll have that mindset all the way up until you die, right?
Yeah.
So you'll never feel this calmness and this grateful sensation that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way to say
it. I love what you just said. It's closer than you think, but it's not that way. It's this way.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like ironic. It's like I don't know how to say it. It's accessible for everyone. You know?
Accessible for everyone right now, but you do have to do the work. It's crazy, isn't it? And every day, I think we're given challenges to shake us off that path, whatever you want to call that. You know, temptations, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then I don't believe they're ever going to go anywhere. I don't think. Maybe they will, but perhaps I think it's like a muscle. Like I said something the other day, which was like you can't chase happiness, like you said. You have to be it, and then so it's do it like it's doing a bicep curl. Practice being happy. So what does that mean to be happy? Right, practice that. Okay, you found it. But it's not that thing over the hill that you're chasing. You know, it's practice every day, but get better at it. Get better at being happy, and then you have happiness. You know, you have to do the work.
Exactly. And once you find that, it's in yoga, it's like self-realization, and this is what the practice is all about. You know, you're doing meditation, the breath work, detaching from all the external things, and this is like the ultimate state of happiness. You know, you're completely detached. You have no fear, no anxiety from the future or from the past. You are in enmity with all the circumstances. So whatever outcomes happens in your life, you're fine with it. You know, and in this way you start to create deep relationships with others, because you're your authentic self. You're not your car, you're not your apartment, and I'm not friends with you because you have this thing or that. I'm friends with you because you have because of your character and your personality. You know, and that's the difference. From this we are talking about, and I think that's really interesting. When you find this happiness, nothing matters. Like it's calm, you know.
So I love that, and this is something that I'm interested in understanding more deeply, and helping others to understand, and sharing like how I'm trying to understand it as well. But for me, kind of my sort of motto, whatever you want, is like freedom through purpose, freedom through like authenticity. I don't want to just be fully myself and then I have to do a bit of work, which isn't fully me. So for example, I was a teacher for 4 years. And I had to lean into this person who was someone else. And I was a different person. For 6-7 hours a day, I was this. And I wasn't authentically myself all the time. What I'm really interested in is how, by doing the inner work on yourself and making that your job, how can you help others to achieve that for themselves? Or how can you be more valuable that way, but by not trying to be someone else, but just getting deep to the core of who you are and what your message is, what you're about, and I don't know, inspiring others to do the same, I suppose. How can you make that sustainable. Like,
Yeah.
because it's great that you said you can sit and you feel great, right? But also the roads need building and we need plumbing. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like,
know
how
what
can
you
you
mean.
get those, match
mate.
those things up?
I think it's a good question. And there was this monk I was listening to. I think it was Jay Shetty.
Oh yeah.
And he said, the purpose in life is when you find your own passion,
Yeah.
and then you practice your passion and you share your passion with others.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't have to be these life-changing things. You can just be, I don't know, teaching normal job, like teaching math in school, whatever. Your passion, share it with others. And that will, as you said, help other people, this society in general,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Because nowadays we're striving too much towards one thing, you
Yeah.
know. I think look inside yourself, not what your parents want you to be,
Yeah.
or not what your friends want you to be, or what your followers on Instagram want you to be.
Yeah.
Look inside yourself,
Yeah.
and that's where you'll find the answer. Like for women nowadays, this autoimmune diseases has increased because we're not expressing ourselves. We're not expressing our own emotions. So on Instagram, women go and they try to be someone else that they're not, right? And that's not a healthy way of living. And that just proves that we have to be ourselves and express our own emotions rather than trying to be someone that someone else thinks us to be, right?
So how do, like, what are like the steps that people take to get there?
Like, I think in my opinion, it is about staying open-minded
Yeah.
and try. If you don't know your purpose, if you don't know your passion, I would say, if you don't know your passion,
Okay.
if you don't know your passion, stay open-minded
Yeah.
and try as many things as you want. And
Yeah.
as I said, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Everything won't be for you. It's normal.
Yeah.
But during this way, I'm quite sure that everyone will find their own passion.
Yeah.
And as I said, it does not have to be anything fancy, right?
Yeah.
It can just be simple, like playing the guitar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Teach people playing the guitar.
That's a beautiful
you know,
thing, man.
That's what I think, in my opinion. Yeah.
Mate, I love that. And so it's interesting you brought up playing the guitar, because I'm a guitarist myself, but that's how I first got into music, essentially. Now, what I've learned from playing guitar that has taught me about just living. So, like you said, some people don't know their passion.
Yeah.
Some people don't feel like they know their purpose.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people used to say to me, be like, "Oh, look, it's great. You found your passion, your purpose. You're playing guitar." No. Find your purpose by being purposeful. And how I can explain that as a musician is, first of all, you're rubbish and you learn like a little scale and you learn these 3 notes that you think sound good. Ding, 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 whatever. You play those 3 notes. Now you're going to go back in purposefully, and I want that last note to just sound a little bit better. Okay. And then over time, purposefully, you've made a little lick, you've made this little phrase, you're bending the strings, you're sliding, and you've turned these 3 notes into something beautiful. Yeah. Now, that was because you purposefully went in and made something your purpose. Like you made that your purpose. And you can do that with life. It's not about finding this big purpose. It's, right, every instance or every rep, everything that you're doing, just, right, bit more purpose in it. Well, I want that note to be a little bit longer. Right, I'm going to do that. And then you're living purposefully, you know? Does that make sense?
I love that. Yeah. I love what you're saying. And I think in my ears, in other words, you're talking about yoga now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I want to hear this. Yeah.
Because you're saying we should do it with purpose. And being present is the most important thing there, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because when you're present, you're not thinking about something else. You're not somewhere else in your mind. And that's the yogi mindset. Be present. Do what you want. Do what you do now, and also it will benefit you. Yeah. And when you do it mindfully, when you are right now, of course you're doing it with more passion because you're not somewhere else in your mind.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That's sick.
You know?
I love that. Yeah.
And that's also like with science, it's supported by science, all of this. Like even if you're doing something really boring right now, if you, let's say you have a work that you don't like, even if you're thinking about something that you like, you will be less happy right now doing the work.
Yeah.
But if you're actually focused on the boring work that maybe I do sometimes also.
Yeah.
Everyone has their job, something they don't like to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like study, everyone has to go to school, to, you know? But if you're actually focused on that with purpose,
Yeah.
doing it with purpose, it will be fun and you will be addicted to the job.
Yeah.
So you want to come back. You want to start to do these difficult things.
Yeah.
And what happens when you start to loving that? You will just go like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're loving every moment.
You're loving every moment, and
Yeah.
you're loving the hard work,
Yeah.
rather than the goal over there,
Yeah.
right? And so
Oh,
that's
man,
what that's
that is
what
sick.
yeah. I see these many people talking about mindset and things like that on social media, and many of them are saying, in other words, they are talking about the yoga philosophy.
Yeah.
Basically, they are talking about yoga philosophy in one way or another.
Yeah.
They just don't know it.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, because you are very, very present. Like, you're very, and I know we all have our battles with it, but you come across as someone who's very deeply present in each moment. I was wondering, like, even in this conversation now, are you more aware of when people slip off into like the future or the past? When you're having a conversation, do you sometimes go, right, I've lost you, I can see you're here, but now you're back. Are you aware of it?
No, I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think I would rather say that I'm more aware of the general mindset of people.
Okay.
Like the general, if someone is present
Yeah.
right now, or if they are striving for the happiness for something in the future.
Yeah.
That is like something that's more easy to see, I think.
Okay. That's interesting.
But it's also very important to understand that everyone has their own journey,
Yeah.
Everyone has their own journey.
Yeah.
And if they reach out to you with a hand to help,
Yeah.
of course we go all in to help. But it's important to understand that we can't try to teach everyone something they don't want to learn.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, the reason I kind of say that is, one, like, part of this conversation now, a couple of times I've been thinking, oh, it's like the camera recording, is this? And like, I felt myself going away from the conversation and having to like, bring yourself back. But I feel like you're very good at being in the conversation wherever it is and not being distracted. But something I always think about, I used to work with a few people and they all used to wear an Apple Watch. Man, this is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
With notifications, ping, vibrating all the time,
it's
ping, ping. So you'd be having a conversation with someone and they'd mate, gone, out of the conversation.
Gone.
It used to blow my mind. I'd be like, that is, if you viewed that from an outside perspective, that is so rude. Like, we're literally talking and but that's how powerful these things are on your arm. Like, and there's your mum's on there, your girlfriend, whatever it is, your cat needs watering, I don't know. Like, your life can just, and all that attention can be drawn to that device. It's dangerous if you're not conscious and you don't curate what it tells you. It can just give you and take you away from like the present moment and interactions, important conversations you needed to have. It just takes you away all the time.
That is the easiest way to go away from the presence.
Yeah.
You just like this, you're gone in your own mind, and in this social media, and like the social media is dangerous at the moment, like, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting point, because children now in school, they even have iPads, computers. They learn to multitask, so we can't even do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And I know in Silicon Valley they have where Google is, and every people that work on Google, they have their children in school in Silicon Valley where they're not allowed to have computers. You know, so all these smart people, they don't let the children go in the schools with computers. So because they know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. And we have to just learn to be more present.
Yeah.
And I can really feel the difference once I've meditated in the morning and when I've not. I feel so much more grounded and calm and like present. And when some days it happens, I take up my phone the first time, I don't know, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm completely gone. And the rest of the day I will be not as mindful, not as present, and like meditation is a huge benefit you can use. to be more present and more calm and just like detached from these things.
Mate, that leads me on to that question I was going. I'm just going to check this because
Yeah,
after
check it. Yeah.
25 minutes last time it cut, so I'm just checking we're still good,
Yeah,
still
it's
rolling. That's what I was going to ask. Mate, my feet.
Yeah.
I'm pretending I'm going to do yoga. I sit like this.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. That second question is, so it's really interesting you just said about your morning routine. You really notice when you've done meditation and when you haven't. You can really, really see the difference. So my question for you is this, because I try and meditate every morning and I'm pretty good with it. But the mornings I don't, either because something's come up or just usually something's come up, I need to go somewhere, I need to do something urgent has come in and I need to fix it right now. I kind of beat myself up for the rest of the day. And it's something I'm trying to work on, because I believe I give myself time to do it. I always plan it in to do those meditations. But if I'm very aware that I don't feel as good for the rest of the day if I haven't meditated, centered myself and focused, really orientated myself for the direction of the day. But if I don't do it, I kind of like my self-talk gets quite negative about myself. So yeah, I'm just wondering if you've got any thoughts, insights on that.
Yeah, so I don't think we should meditate. I don't think we should think about ourselves like we have to do anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's just about getting the habit, a positive habit, and then once we get that, everything will come time with time.
Yeah.
And you understand that like missing meditation 1 day, 2 days, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just about you staying
Hi.
it's about you staying what's the word? You staying
Like consistent?
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, of course.
Before having yoga class.
Yeah, of course. We'll get out of your way, of course. Well, there we are. I think we're going to do some yoga now then. Perfect. We were just recording a little podcast interview.
I realized that's why I'm thinking if we're going to talk and music stuff.
That's all good. That's all good.
yeah, it's good.
Perfect.